Italian Football Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Italian Football Podcast. I'm Carlo Garganese, joined as always by Nima and On today's show, we will review the weekend Serie A action. Rasmus Hojlund is Napoli's hero as they outplay and beat Juventus at the Stadio Maradona. Inter handed Cesc Fabregas a footballing lesson by thrashing Como 4-0. Roma lost for a second week in a row. Verona won their first game of the season against Atalanta. We'll preview some of the big Champions League games this week, some huge matches, including Inter versus Liverpool, which has been dominated by and overshadowed by the storm with Mo Salah. And we'll also have our usual Baggio, Premface and Serie ASS of the week. If you want to support the Italian Football Podcast and receive all of our content that we do throughout the week, including our Monday review show, our weekly Q&A episode, plus the Thursday midweek review show, plus interviews, post-match reaction, and much, much more, then go to patreon.com/TIFP, become a subscriber for just $3.99 a month. You can also watch all of our free episodes and shorter clips on YouTube. And soon, something really big coming to YouTube, but more on that when it's confirmed. You can become a patron also on YouTube membership. Go to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/@itafootpod for more details. You can also sign up to be a paid subscriber on Spotify. So whichever platform you consume us on, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube.
That's a good name for a platform, Spottle.
Yeah, Spottle. We'd really appreciate.
I like it actually.
We'd really appreciate if you give us a follow and subscribe to us, like us, give us a 5-star rating, all that stuff. And that really helps us to grow. And do follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and
Spottle.
TikTok. And Spottle as well. Yes, Spottle. Yes. I'm copywriting that if anyone...
Yeah, you should. You should. It's a good name.
Right. Okay, let's get into today's show. Right, so we'll start off with the big Sunday evening game, Napoli against Juventus at the Stadio Maradona. Napoli win 2-1. Napoli completely dominate this game from start to finish, deservedly win. Let's talk about this from the Napoli perspective first. So, yes, as I said, Napoli dominated this game. I thought, yes, they're playing against a terrible, terrible opponent, horrific, which, don't worry, I'll get into that when we talk about Juventus. But from Napoli's point of view, when you consider how decimated they are with injuries, considering they've basically got, well, they have got their entire midfield options out, with the exception of Scott McTominay. Elmas was redesigned into a deep lying midfielder. I thought that from Napoli's point of view, they were outstanding. They created lots of chances. They conceded virtually nothing. The only chance they really conceded was the goal that Juventus scored, which was their first shot, and kind of a half chance at the end for Zagrova. But other than that, defense was very comfortable, and they showed good reaction to the Juventus equalizer to go back and then get the winner. They were, as a team, exceptional, great pressing, defense solid, lots of intensity, aggressive. I thought they were really, really good as a team, and as we'll come to, lots of great individual performances as well. And now 4 wins in a row since they've gone to the 3-4-3, and they're really picking up steam now.
Yeah, I was so impressed, especially by that first half by Napoli. The way, to me, I was texting with our good friend Vincenzo Credendino, who works, he's on Sport Italia among many places, but I was so impressed I was texting with him and saying that, look, when I look at, since moving to the 3-4-3 with Neres and Lang and Hojlund, it just, the way that Napoli, they behave like psychologically, mentally, tactically, like such a mature Conte team that just looks like a Conte team when they're at their best, when it's a macchina da guerra. It's a Conte's macchina da guerra. It's just, they were so good. The systematic way with which they just go through and attack and defend, the way they press, and it just, it's truly, when Conte's football works,
It's like a marching band.
Yeah, no, it is a marching band, and it's just unstoppable. It's just unstoppable, especially in the Serie A. In Europe, he's never really been able to express it in the same way. But in the Serie A, we've seen it for what was almost a decade now. I mean, it's just, he's unbelievable. His football is genuinely unstoppable in the Serie A, and opponents just can't stop them when it works. And it just flows. It looks so natural. It looks so easy. It looks so like chiaro. Like, it just looks so clear. Everything just falls into place. And okay, the opponents weren't exactly the best in the world, but it doesn't matter. It's still Juventus, and it's still, it's still a big game at the Maradona. And I was so impressed by that first half. I thought the first half they could have been 2-3 up.
They should have been 2-3 up, yeah.
Yeah.
McTominay had the header that he should have scored. There was another great save from Di Gregorio. They should have been definitely at least 2 up, maybe 3. I thought they were exceptional throughout. I thought that they were complete control. Just, like the Roma game, only in this game they were creating more, and even more than they did against Roma. And
I just want to say, this is what I said a couple of weeks ago in the beginning of the season, when he was insisting with the 4-1-4-1 and Neres was on the bench. And, I kept saying the key to Napoli's success goes through David Neres. And I think he's showing it week by week by week.
Well, Neres has been absolutely incredible the last few weeks. And since they went to this 3-4-3 especially, he was... Okay, Hojlund scored the 2 goals, but Neres was the man of the match. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's burned Coop Miners for that first goal to give the assist to Hojlund. He put in the initial cross for the second goal. He created that big chance for McTominay. So he was effective. But he just, every time he got the ball, he got the crowd going. He ignited Napoli, some beautiful dribbles. Did one fantastic dribble on the touchline near where the manager's dugouts are, which was a magnificent highlight. He was fantastic. He was absolutely fantastic. And Napoli, when they were with the back four, they looked very sterile, very predictable in attack going forward, slow and one-paced. Now, with this front three, they look a threat all the time, and they've got so much pace because we know Neres is lightning fast. Hojlund is also, when he gets going, once he gets into his stride, is incredibly fast. And actually, Noah Lang is actually deceivingly fast as well. So on the counter-attack and on the transitions, they're always a threat. And obviously with this 3-4-3, 3-4-2, when they're stretching the pitch more. And so far, at the moment, the opposition are struggling to work out this new Napoli system. They'd worked out the old Napoli system, which is why, they become predictable. And it's why we've said you've got to change systems. It's why Pep Guardiola always changes formation and changes the movements and the positions of his players, because the opposition, after a certain while, they get to work out a winning system. They work out their little patterns and how they create chances and how they build up. So since making this change, our opponents haven't worked it out yet. I'm sure at some point they will, and then they'll have to make a difference to it. Right now, it's devastating. And Neres for sure. Hojlund as well, we have to praise. I mean, he was more of a proper centre forward in this game. Like, they were penalty box goals. The movement for the first goal, the way they got in front of Kelly. The second goal, just, in the right place, only a couple of yards out, puts it in. His team play was better. We've said about his back to goal play. it's been better the last couple of games. I still, I'm not going to say it's there yet because it's not, but he's, this is what Napoli want from him, and he produced as well. So, yeah, I thought those two obviously were the standouts. But I also have to say, and I'm going to have to praise Conte for this, because you said he always finds solutions when the team is in crisis or whatever. And
that's when he does his best work. It's truly remarkable how this man manages to always be at his best when he's desperate. After he's gone through the whole motions of his moaning and complaining and blaming the sun, the earth, the moon, the stars, the wind, everything else, when he's finished with all of that and he realizes that there is no cavalry coming, it's literally just him, that's when he does his best work. I mean, he did it at Juve, he did it at Chelsea, he did it at Inter, he did it with the Italy national team. He people say that his tenure at Spurs was bad. I'm sorry, but he finished top 4 with championship wingbacks, which is, championship level wingbacks. And it's just, he's so.
Well, the way in this game, he found a solution to the centre midfield problem, because they lost Lobotka as well, and they only had one central midfielder, McTominay, who some would argue is not really a centre midfielder in a two-man centre midfield either. And he needed someone, and he put Elmas, who's an attacking midfielder, or even an outside attacker, some might say. And he put him into the deep line position in the Lobotka role. I thought Elmas was exceptional in this game. I thought you wouldn't have even really known the difference between him and Lobotka. He was brilliant on the ball. He never lost it. He's really hard to take the ball off. He's a fantastic dribbler. He's got great close ball control. He was really good. Now, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's found a new position for him, because he was again, against a terrible team, but he was absolutely fantastic on the ball, Elmas. I was so impressed by him. Maybe he's found a way to get the best out of Elmas, because Elmas is one of these players where I'm not really sure, probably a victim of modern football, in that he's a kind of a 10, kind of trequartista kind of player. And that kind of position, there's not too many roles for that kind of player. Maybe they've done a Çalhanoğlu. Maybe he's a Çalhanoğlu. Maybe this is his position. You bring him further back and you get the best out of his technical qualities. I don't know, but he was bloody good in this game. And then the defense. The defense has been so much more solid since going to a back 3. And the XG was 0.24 against it in this game, which is, I mean, that speaks for itself. So, I mean, really good.
Well, we have to say, for me, the equalizer, the equalizer that Juve did, it was on Buongiorno. I mean, he's in no man's land. He shouldn't be in no man's land. That's a big mistake by him. He's literally in the middle of nowhere. He should, you either fall back and let the midfielder take that space when you're in transition, or you push forward and try to win the ball. Instead, he's caught between two minds and nothing happens. And it was that. But yeah, overall,
nothing at all. Yeah. Juventus. So that brings us on to Juventus, because as good as Napoli were, I'm sorry, this is the worst performance I've seen from Juventus for. I mean, there's been so many bad performances that I don't know. It's hard to rank them, but this was as bad as it's been from Juventus in every facet. There was just nothing in this game. Nothing at all in attack. Just that one, like I said, just the goal. That was their first shot, their first chance in the game. The goal, the equaliser from Yildiz, which was a nice team move, to be fair. Defensively, they conceded lots. They were dominated in midfield. They just... Listen, it's pointless even analysing Juventus that much. And I'm going to come on to Spalletti in a bit and criticise him, because I thought Spalletti had a horrible game himself from start to finish, and I'll come on to him. But I think the bottom line is, if we're going to look at, why Juventus are so, why Juventus are so bad. I think, again, I'm not going to talk about the top of the club. We'll come on to that as well. Because that is the real number one problem. But the simple truth is this with Juventus: they're not good enough. The quality is not there. The players are not good enough. Honestly, I could go through the entire Juventus squad and I could probably pick on one hand the players that I think are good enough to be in the Juventus squad, and probably on a couple of fingers the players who are good enough to be in the Juventus team.
All right then. Well, let's go through them then. Every single player.
Okay.
The Juventus fire sale.
We'll do it. Let's do a keep or sell. Let's play.
Let's do keep or sell. Yeah, let's do it. I'll just go through every player and you say keep or sell. So Juventus, keep or sell. Let's start with Di Gregorio. Keep or sell.
Sell.
Kelly.
Sell.
I didn't even finish. Kalulu.
Sell.
Cup Miners.
Sell.
Cabal.
Catapult into the moon.
McKennie.
Catapult into Texas.
Locatelli.
Sell.
Kefren Turam.
Keep.
Andrea Cambiaso.
Sell.
Ooh. Chico Conceição.
Keep.
Kenan Yildiz.
Keep. The only player who, well, one of only two players along with Thuram who are good enough to be in this Juventus team.
Mattia Perin.
Sell.
Freddie Kitty Cats.
Sell.
Daniele Rugani.
Sell.
Kostic.
Sell.
Jean Mario.
Bloody sell.
Miretti.
Sell.
Vlahovic, but he's going to leave anyway. So
yeah, let him run down his contract.
Jonathan David and Lois Openda.
Tie them together on a rocket and catapult them to Mars.
Oh dear!
But seriously, if you go through that squad, I mean, it's just not good enough player for player. I mean, we can sit here and criticize Spalletti, and again, I said we will, but no manager, what manager can do anything with that with those players? I'm sorry. And that's before you even get to how badly it's been constructed in terms of making them work together in a system. You know, it's been so badly constructed. How much is Spalletti's fault? Yes, but Spalletti did make some horrendous mistakes in this game. I mean, Yildiz as a false nine was a mistake. It was a really quite a bizarre decision. You're playing Yildiz as a false nine, yet you've got Conceição, okay, but you've got McKennie supporting him as one of the two behind the one. I mean, McKennie, what's he going to do? Then you somehow completely undeservedly get it to 1-1 with, a third of the game left or whatever it is. And what does he do? He takes off Yildiz. I mean, that's insanity. Why would you take off Yildiz? I mean, some have said, oh, well, he had half an eye on the Champions League, and Juventus obviously need a win. Juventus are playing Paphos. I'm sorry, but even this Juventus without Yildiz, as bad as they are, can beat Paphos at home. Even this year. So I'm sorry, that's just insanity. Taking off Yildiz at 1-1. Your only player that's really a threat. And he scored the goal as well. Then he starts Cabal, which is madness as well. Cabal is horrendous. Since he's come back from this ACL, and it was a very small sample size before he had the ACL. Yeah. This guy, I called him the Scarecrow because he is brainless. I have never seen a more brainless person than Cabal. This guy has no brain. He has no awareness defensively, what's behind him, what's in front of him, keeping the line when he gets the ball. Oh my God, there was one incident. I actually burst out laughing. Where he got himself offside. He had the whole line. You could see right across the line. He just kept running offside into an offside position. I mean, it was, so Cabal, McKennie again as an attacking. I mean, we can criticize Spalletti. And I also criticize him for sticking with this back three. Like, what is the point of sticking with this back three? I mean, he needs to check. I mean, Spalletti, we know can't play a back three. We know that from Italy. Why is he staying with this back three? At least try something new. Using the same system, you're not going to improve. So at least try. You might fail. But what is the point of sticking with this back three?
No, it's I think again, the fact that it's because of the makeup of the squad, and it goes back to that. I think it's got to do with the fact that this has been such a poorly constructed squad, and he's found, if we disregard Napoli, one of the best teams in the Serie A, they do have some stability in the Serie A. They've actually had some decent results, and I think they can grind out results against the smaller teams. We're playing like this, and I don't think Spalletti is going to be there after this season, even if they make top four. I just don't see that happening. I think Juventus need to move away and really reboot properly, competently. They've rebooted quite a few times, but they've not done so competently. They need to competently reboot this time around, because right now it's so weird the way that this squad is built and constructed is just so poor. There's no logic to it, and it's not just the players; it's the type of players. It's like square pegs and round holes kind of thing. There's no coherence here. It's so poorly built. They need a lot of work.
They need a fire sale. They do. They need to. Because of those players.
I don't know if they need. Look, I think it depends on who they appoint. If they appoint, they need to have a proper, like if you remember when Marotta and Paratici took over way back then, and they came on and they first appointed, Del Neri and all of that. It didn't really pan out well. But then they got it right with Conte because they had a coherent structure of how they wanted to work. I think they need to find a sporting director and a CEO duo who work well together, who are given a bit of time to navigate and to find a coherent structure, find a tactical identity with a manager that they believe in, and then construct from there on. But if you look at the last few, from Allegri to Tudor to Thiago Motta, Tudor, Spalletti, there's no logic here.
No, it's just been, like I said, it all comes
down. And before that, it's just...
It all comes down to it comes to the top of the club, and we can criticise the players, and yes, they're not good enough. It comes down to who's been running the club, the management, of course, but the people that appoint the management, the person that's at the very top, it's John Elkann. We're talking a day after the Formula One season just finished. Ferrari just had another humiliating season, embarrassing, horrific. The decision to bring in Lewis Hamilton, who's over 40 years old or whatever he is, to bring him in. What for? Just for marketing reasons, when he's way past his best. That's just one example. But I'm not that much of I'm not really a Formula One expert. But the people I speak to and just looking at the results of Ferrari, the biggest car in Formula One, and their results while Elkann's been running the show. And so, I did a video on it. It went viral. The common denominator between Juventus and Ferrari is John Elkann. And I'm sorry, but I don't have any confidence at all that when there is this next reboot, as you say, when there is this fire sale, and there clearly needs to be a huge overhaul of the playing squad because they aren't good enough, most of these players. They're not da Juve, these players. Then when that happens, you can't be confident, have any confidence at all that there's going to be any difference, because if the people that are in charge and are running the show are incompetent, as Elkann is, then it's not going to change. And when I look at Juventus, unfortunately, this is the biggest issue, and this is what those people that in Juventus, including the people that support Juventus journalists or Juventus content creators, the people from this Juventus Creator Lab, which just makes me want to gouge my eyes out when I see the state that this club is in, and they're producing some of this social media content like do you wear socks in bed, and this kind of shit that they put out. I'm sorry.
I love how that triggers you. It would piss me off too. I think it's ridiculous.
Because it symbolizes.
It's a weird question.
It symbolizes the state of this club. That is this. Just symbol. It's just it might seem like a minor point, but it symbolizes the state of this club and what it's become, and what a laughing stock it's become. And those people. I'm talking like the journalists. Those people never call out Elkann. No. They never call out Elkann ever, and I know why. Because the Elkanns, even now, there's a lot. They possess a lot of power, and it's something that is kind of like, well, you just don't go there. You don't go there. You don't criticize.
But you've never done that at Juve. You have never been called. The owners have never been called out ever because they have too much power. They are the unofficial royal family of Italy. You don't call out. It's like when Berlusconi was in charge of Milan. Journalists were scared of criticizing.
I don't want to hear. I'm sorry. I'm going to just say it. I'm fed up of
I know that for a fact. This isn't. I know journalists for a fact that used to tell me we can't publish this because Berlusconi or Agnelli family can cause lots of problems for you. Like this is not.
Of course. But I'm not talking about, some of the off-pitch stuff, which I totally understand that. I'm talking about just footballing matters here. I'm talking about what do we need to make Juventus great again? Right? What do we need, right? And if you're a Juventus journalist and you're a Juventus content creator, it's obvious what the problem is here, right? None of them go there. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say I'm fed up of seeing these Juventus journalists and content creators. Oh, and this player's not good enough. Oh, and this manager's not good enough. Oh, we need to change this. But they'll never call out Elkan. They're part of the problem. I'm sorry, they are. And I'm saying,
I agree with you
because I'm friends with some of these guys. I'm good, close friends with some of these. They'll never call it out. And while that's the case, nothing will change at Juventus because that is the problem.
No, like the fish rots from the head down. Chinese proverbs. It is what it is.
Just one other thing I want to say is, two. McKennie getting an assist for the Napoli winner. I rest my case. And also an important point, Koopmeiners has been playing as a defender and he had done decently until now, better than he's done in midfield, like constructing the play. Until now, I've said I want to wait until he actually has to defend. He plays against a team where he's forced to defend against top attackers or top teams, because until now, Juventus haven't played any really tough teams while Koopmeiners has played in that position. I said, I want to wait until Juventus come under pressure. They're away from home. They're playing against top attackers. Against attackers with pace, because Koopmeiners is not very quick. Well, he got absolutely slaughtered by Neres in this game, if you see that first goal in particular. And there you go. That's what happens against he's not a defender. I mean, yes, I know he started his career there, but he's not a defender.
He's not a defender.
He's a ball playing.
They're trying to fix. He's trying to do something at a save to stop the bleeding, at least from solve one issue with perhaps creating another and then mitigating for that. I mean, that's what Spalletti does. I don't really blame him for that. I think it's a
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I agree.
There's been a lot of praise for him. And
no. I agree with you. I'm just saying that the underlying reason why is that and what he's supposed to do. I think the route out of this is there's two options that Juventus need to get working on immediately for next season. Now they need to start working on. One is Vincenzo Italiano if they want to play a back four, or if they want to continue with the 3-5-2, they should work on Simone Inzaghi. Like one of those two needs to come. That's the only way they get out of this, and they need to have a proper sporting director who can help them build, and they need to give them time, and that needs to happen now. We're in December now. That needs to happen now. You need to get all the jigsaw pieces sorted in the backroom staff.
Which is what they were going to do last season.
Yeah, and then when they've done that, they need to focus on next season, and they have to be able to, because this is tell Spalletti, Spalletti finishing top four, some redemption for his career. He'll probably be able to get a good job if he wants to. If he gets this Juve side into the top four, it'll be some redemption, not massive redemption, but some redemption. And
I don't know if that's going to happen, to be honest. The only positive from this game was that all the other teams that Juventus are fighting against for fourth place all slipped up. Yeah. That's the only positive from this game, because Juventus have got rid of one of their harder games away, while the others who will come into Roma lost, Como lost, Bologna drew, Atalanta lost. Yeah, that's the only positive. And they played against apart from Como, they played against weak teams. So that's the only positive, because Juventus, they have a real fight for fourth place, because this team is right now, I don't see them really being. They're definitely not better than those other teams. I'm not saying they're worse. They're not better than them. So they're not as well constructed as those other teams they're fighting against. So I think going to be very, very difficult. One of those teams is Como, who were thrashed 4-0 by Inter. Inter sent out a message in this game, Nima, didn't they? They were really, really good.
They were good. Inter were good. Inter looked solid. And given the comments by Fabregas before and stuff like that, but I think this was an important win for Chivu. But at the same time, the way that Fabregas said after the game, I'm not going to basically saying I'm not going to change my this is how I want to play, even if I lose big or small. This is how I want to play, and this is my identity. And I, to a certain extent, respect that. When you're at Como, you can do that if you have the time to build something the way that he has had, being co-owner of the club and so on. But it's still, I think that there's this never-ending debate about the shelf life when you're an ideologue. How long can you keep going? Unless you're Guardiola, who chops and changes, keeps the same kind of philosophy but chops and changes. That's really difficult. But Fabregas said, I don't care, but essentially, he's going to continue playing this way. And you saw what happens if you're up against a team, the weaknesses of that system were ruthlessly exposed by an Inter who pressed like mad. And that press is very effective against these teams that play like Gasperini's Atalanta or Gasperini, period. Fabregas. What?
Well, no, I was just going to come in there because I made a point on that Como showed how not to play against Inter. This is the way to lose against Inter.
Yeah.
Even a slightly older Inter, because Pioli's Milan, Gasperini's Atalanta, and even Barcelona last season showed that if you go with this ridiculously high press, man for man, this Inter kill you. Because this Inter even now, well, even probably more so with probably more with Inzaghi, but they're really good at playing out of pressure, and then they hit those direct balls and they kill you. And Fabregas, I mean, I was going to talk about Fabregas, but I think Fabregas will need to learn that sometimes, yes, you can still have your identity. Yes, you should try and, especially if you're going to play, he's going to manage a bigger team than Como at some point, and at those clubs, you impress your identity on the opposition because you're the big club. But sometimes you do have to play to the opposition a bit more. And he was a bit too idealistic. And I know he said at the end of the game, I prefer to lose like this than defend with a 5-4-1. Nobody's saying you have to defend with a 5-4-1. We're just saying you have to be a little bit. You have to be
somewhat look. Pep Guardiola won the only Champions League he did with Manchester City, not changing his identity, but adapting in the final against Inter. They didn't press as high. And he explained why. Because they Inter had Onana, and he's so good with his ball at his feet that if you press too high, he'll just play you past you and you're basically exposed. I mean, these are minor tweaks. And I think Fabregas has to learn that. And I think he will learn. I don't think he's, I don't think he's that much of a ideologue like that. I think he has I think it's more, he will learn. I'm sure of it, because otherwise he won't have he won't be at that level. Which I expect him to be at.
He was very.
But he did also say that he had lots to learn, didn't he? He did kind of admit to that.
Yeah, I think so. He praised Inter a lot as well. He said how much he enjoyed them, and I thought that Inter were great. And we've said all season that even when they've lost these big games, I don't know whether you'd call Como a big game. I mean, it was a big game, but it wouldn't call them a big team yet.
No.
In terms of, but I mean, I guess we saw the difference between Inter and Como in that Inter are going to be a challenger for the Scudetto, and Como, okay, no one was ever calling them a challenger for the Scudetto, but we saw that they have how much they've got a long way to go yet before we can start putting them in that category. They'll get there, I'm sure they will at some point, but Inter were the men as well on the pitch, and Como, a very young team, were the boys in this match.
An interesting point this last week from an Inter perspective is Andy Diouf and Luis Enrique. There's been lots of question marks and criticism. You spent 50 million, correctly so, I might add. You spent this much money in the summer, and neither of them have even featured. And when they have, they've not been too good. Well, Andy Diouf played as a right wing back, and he was really good against Venezia. Okay, Coppa Italia, Venezia Serie B side. Then you have Luis Enrique, who I thought was probably the man of the match against Como. I mean, I thought he was like outstanding. I really think he was brilliant. Yeah. And he showed that the confidence that's been lacking was there. It wasn't just that he was good, but he didn't look like the shirt was heavy on him anymore. And that is the most encouraging aspect of his game against Como.
It reminds me a little bit of, from what I've seen, a bit like what's his name? The Italian guy at Lazio, the right back.
Lazzari,
yeah. He reminds me a little bit of him. Like very quick.
I agree.
Very quick and quick bursts and yeah.
No, I agree. And this is kind of and yeah. No, I agree with that. And I think he looked good. It looked very encouraging. But for me, when I'm looking forward now, the big game is now Liverpool. Like, this is a big game. 0 for 4 in all big games this season. Inter need a result against Liverpool. Like, it's a Liverpool in crisis. It's a Liverpool.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk. Let's preview that game when we get to the Champions League section. But yeah, it'd be a good test to see if they can win a big game now. 2 other points I want to make. Is there a better shooter on the edge of the box than Çalhanoğlu right now
in world football, or just Serie A?
Well, Serie A for starters. I mean, I think Nico Paz is up there, but I think that for consistency, I mean, he just bangs them bottom corner every single time.
For me, the most impressive thing about that goal is that he's not even looking at the goal. He knows exactly what to do, how to position his body. He knows where the goal is. He knows, he didn't even look. He just knew it. It was instinct.
He's got 6 goals in Serie A this season already, which I believe is that joint top scorer in Serie A.
I think doesn't Lautaro have 7, or does he? I think Lautaro
scored in this game. He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
for the first. Yes, I think Lautaro is top scorer with 7. Yeah, I know that it was 6.
Yeah,
I know
7,
that it was top scorer was 6 before this match day. Yeah. So yeah,
no, Lautaro scored, so he's on top goal scorer with 7. Yeah. No, it's very interesting. You know, I think in the Serie A for sure, but I have to say, Nicolo Barella, when he doesn't get into those positions as much, but he has a good shot on him as well. Like, honestly, he can score bangers too. But yeah, right now in terms of consistency, I don't, who would it be in world football? I mean, I think Çalhanoğlu is.
I mean, De Bruyne was always what I would have always had as probably the number one for a long time. Obviously, he's older now.
Yeah, and he's injured.
I think in Serie A, I think it's either Çalhanoğlu or Paz. Really, I don't think that you can really put anyone else really. Berardi's good, Soule's good.
Yeah.
De Bruyne, obviously, but he's a certain age. Mandragora, but I think he's the best. I think he's the best, certainly in Serie A. And also another goal from a corner from Inter, of course. I mean, it's insane how good.
But when you have Di Marco and Çalhanoğlu, those are your strengths.
That's the key. It's the delivery. The delivery
is so good.
It's impossible to defend against. It's so hard.
And it was Di Marco it was a good game, but it wasn't one of his best games. He misplaced simple passes, but one very simple pass for a through ball. But he was good, and the cross which led to Augusto's goal was stunning. Now, when you have those kinds of players, you that gives you an advantage, and you should play to your advantage. And Çalhanoğlu, even when he's kind of on the decline, he's still very, very good. And I think one of the things we saw, if we just talk about minor negatives, again, the negative aspect of pressing so high up for Chivu is, if you lose that ball in transition, you are F. And that happened once or twice. And if he's going to do that against Liverpool are going to smash Inter if they do that. They can't lose the ball like that. They can't They have to be. I mean, it's the same thing with Como. You have to be a little bit more patient. You can't. Okay, it's Como. You know how they're going to play if you're playing Gasperini, but you can't do that against the top side. This is why Inter, I, in my opinion, have lost these big games. Is mainly not the Juve game that was more decided by just bad goalkeeping, if you ask me. But overall, when you can't press like this against the bigger teams, you have to be a little bit more patient in your press and a little bit smarter in your press. And we'll see if Chivu has learned his lesson against Liverpool.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move on to some of the other teams. Roma, for starters. Roma starting to falter now. They lose the second game in a row, 1-0 to Cagliari. They played terribly again in this game, Roma. Before and after the red card.
Agreed.
Obviously, the red card made it more difficult for Roma. I thought it was the right decision. It was good use of the VAR. Originally, they gave a penalty. Then they reviewed it, saw that it was outside the area, but saw that it was a last man. Last man challenge. So I think that was a good use of the VAR, if we can praise them for once. But doing that job.
Decision. They did really well. They handled it really well.
But yeah, I mean, we've said before that they've been overperforming their underlying stats, and now they're reverting to the mean, and that's the case. And again, to repeat ourselves once again, nothing in attack at all. 0.36 xG, almost as bad as Juve. The second half, Roma's xG was 0.06. They just have, again, repeating ourselves. They've got no number 9. I do want to criticise Gasperini. Yes, I totally understand that Dovbyk, okay, he's injured at the moment. Dovbyk is not your kind of player. And I totally understand that Ferguson it's been a difficult time for him as well. He started decently, but he's having a hard time at Roma. I totally understand that. And I understand that you're going to buy a number 9 that you're going to use in January. I get that. But stop playing a false 9 because they're even worse. They're making it worse. I'm sorry, you can't go with Baldanzi as a false 9. You've just got nothing. He's a little midget for starters. What is he going to do in holding up the ball? He's not quick either.
No.
You know, stop playing it, whether it's Baldanzi, whether it's Sule, whether it's who else does he use as a false 9? Baldanzi, Sule, Dybala. You know, whoever he uses, stop using these false 9. Just play Dovbyk if he's fit, or play Ferguson. And if they're not good enough, they're not good enough. But at least they'll play the role and they'll be a reference. They'll occupy defenders, because this is just pointless now. This is completely bullshit. You've made your point. Roma have got. Sometimes managers do this. You know, Mourinho used to do this. They make a point. They'll play a player out of position as a message to the board that we need to play a player. And maybe he's doing that. You've made your point. Roma have already decided they're gonna sign a striker, so you don't need to do it anymore now. And because it's now they're throwing away points now because just for this stupid false 9. So that's what I would say about that. Other than that, yeah, they were the best. They were second best throughout this game.
No, I agree. I really know nothing to add. I mean, these are all the notes I had from that game, and it is a little bit regressing to the mean. It is with Roma. We've said that all the time. I think they're doing a really good job, and they started really well. But overall, the course of a season, more often than not, you know, things kind of even out. But Roma need to be careful now, because otherwise they risk throwing away the fantastic start they've had. They were somewhat lucky that all the other teams lost as well. So they need to be careful.
Yeah. I saw a stat that was doing the rounds on social media that every single time Roma have fallen behind this season, they've lost, which again shows that.
Yeah.
I don't think it shows so much about the mental side. I think it just shows that they don't have the firepower or the attack.
No, they don't.
To react.
They don't have the bite to match their bark.
They go ahead. They've got a good defense, organised. The back three's doing really well. They've got a couple of centre midfielders there who are strong defensively minded midfielders like Kone, even Cristante at protecting. They can hold on to a lead.
Agreed.
But if they go behind, that's it.
No, they don't have any. They have bite. They have bark, but they have no bite. And that's what it is.
The next couple of weeks are going to be important for a number of teams at the top. Juventus have Bologna, then Roma next. Roma have Como, then Juventus next.
Mm.
So that battle for, for the top,
European spots.
for the fourth place, Roma,
Yeah.
Bologna, Como, Juventus, they're all playing against each other. And, if the results go badly for Juventus, they could suddenly be well adrift. If the results go badly for Roma, then they're plummeting. They're really falling away. So and Como, so the next couple of weeks is going to be important for fourth place. I think we're seeing now. We're going to see now a separation between the top three. I think. And
I agree.
And the other teams. But I want to make a note on Cagliari. It's their first win since September. They had all the chances again. They were really good. Gaetano got a deserved winner. But I have to say, Marco Palestra has to be called up by the Italy national team now.
He's so good.
Outstanding. Palestra is first in Serie A this season for completed dribbles. Mm-hmm. He's fourth overall. The only players that have more completed dribbles in Serie A are Atta from Udinese, who's number one, Salamakers, who's second, and Nico Paz, who's third. And then it's Palestra. So Palestra is statistically the best dribbling Italian. So Gattuso has to call him up. He's quick, he's powerful, he's direct, he makes things happen. If Gattuso doesn't call up Palestra, then I'm sorry, it's just not on. It's not on at all.
No, he really should be given a chance. When you play this well after 14 matches in the Serie A and you're starting to show that your level, I think you deserve a call up. Maybe not start, but at least be called up to the national team to be familiar with the surroundings and with how they work in the national team. I agree 100%. He's definitely good enough to be in the national team, and I'm so impressed by how his aggression, like he just
guy, isn't he? His surname Palestra means
Mark Jim.
Mark Jim. So he looks like he goes to the gym, doesn't he?
The ultimate gym bro, Mark Jim.
You just know, Nima, that some Premface that's using Google Translate at some point is going to call him Mark Jim. In an
unironic way, in a serious way.
Yeah.
No, he's really, really good. And he was, I'd say he was the key to this win.
He murdered Tsimikas. He absolutely murdered Tsimikas in this game.
He's really impressive. He's really impressive. And Cagliari are a fun sight to watch. They are.
They are, and they play a lot of Italians as well. And they're a handful. They're fighters. They'll be fine staying up this season. I know they've had a bit of a bad run, but they'll be fine.
No, they'll be fine.
Lazio Bologna, not the best game. Lazio really, I'm sorry, they're not a great team to watch this season. Even with Sarri, their games Lazio were looking good first half. They went ahead. Isaacson scored, and then they made a silly mistake for the Odegaard equaliser. Nuno Tavares. I've seen a lot of the top Italian journalists saying there's a good chance. I think Nico Schira might have said this last week, I believe. That is a very good chance Tavares will be sold in January. And he made a bad mistake for the Bologna equaliser. He's been really lost his way because remember the first half of the last season, he was outstanding.
Topping the assists, yeah.
Yeah, he had like 8 assists by November last season. And then difficult second half of the season with injuries. And then this season just seems kind of disinterested, not been playing well. Maybe it's just for the best that, again, if you have a player that doesn't really seem to want to be there, maybe he wanted a move in the summer. I don't know, but maybe it's for the best. Lazio.
It's difficult for Lazio. I mean, again, this situation they're in, I think when we had Alfredo Pedola on in the summer, and the way he explained it was the spot on. It's like, this is ridiculous. They should not be in this situation. And again, you speak about Juventus, the problem with the guy in charge at Juve. Well, the same applies to Lazio. The guy in charge of Lazio Lotito is just a hindrance now. I keep saying this because it's true. And I hope for Lazio's sake that we have a new owner, fresh blood. I mean, he's done overall. I'm not, if anyone who listens to this pod through the years knows that I think overall he's done a good job, but everything has a sell-by date, and I think, this is becoming like moldy mozzarella, like when you keep mozzarella too long and it becomes fizzy and it starts to this is what Lotito is. He's molding.
Well, he looks like a buffalo, Lotito.
He is a buffalo. He is a buffalo. He behaves like a bull like a buffalo in a china shop.
Yeah, put him in one of those bags that when you take the buffalo mozzarella, you could definitely pass as one. Don't need to be mean. That's horrible. But yeah,
no, but like the way he acts, he is like a buffalo in a china shop. I mean, he has no. The guy is.
Yeah, but anyway, Bologna, at least they recovered because they had a bad home defeat to Cremonese last week. We'll speak about Cremonese in a bit. And they're becoming a bit of the neutrals' favourites in Serie A this season. They are. Right, Atalanta. Right, Hellas Verona versus Atalanta. I only got one thing to say on this game. I tried to watch it. I couldn't watch it. It was impossible to watch because of the fog. I couldn't see anything. Not even the orange ball helped. So I'm sorry, I can't give a proper analysis on this game. Serie A have decided this season, especially in the last few weeks, that it's not important if you can't watch football games. No, it doesn't matter. It's okay. TV companies, don't worry, spend money with us. Buy the TV rights, but you're not. Your consumers are not going to be able to watch the matches. So, yeah, I'm sorry, nothing to say on this game. I couldn't see anything. Did you see anything?
I did. I managed to decipher a couple of things. I'm impressed by Hellas, and this is a fundamentally important win.
The first win.
Yeah, a fundamentally important win, because with Fiorentina sinking without a trace, and we're going to talk about them in a bit, this was very important. They're 3 points clear of Fiorentina now. And they're 2 points off the safe places in the Serie A table, and this was a fundamentally important win. And I'm surprised that Atalanta were unable to do better here, because they've had a good start under Palladino, and I was kind of expecting them to kind of brush Hellas aside. But this Giovanni or however you want to pronounce his name, because he's a Brazilian spelling, and Begali, they were good. They were really good.
Great. They're quality. Both of them
they
quality. They're both good enough for bigger clubs. Both of them.
Yeah.
Verona. You know what? Because earlier on in the season, I said, watch out for Verona. They're producing a lot of quality players, and I think they could actually have a half decent season. And I've kind of been made to look a little bit silly by saying that, because they've obviously been struggling. They've only just won the game. So I had a look at their underlying stats, and it showed that actually I wasn't talking nonsense. This is actually insane. This season, Hellas Verona, their expected points is 13 points higher than their actual points. They have 9 points. Their expected points is 22 points. They would be in 8th position if they had their expected points. They've just been terribly prolific. Is that the word?
What are you trying to say?
As in they're missing chances.
Oh, prolific. They haven't been prolific.
The opposite.
Yeah, they haven't been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prolific.
No, prolific is you put the chances away.
Yeah.
You don't put the chances away. Is profligate. Is that correct? Oh. Have I gone completely mad and I don't?
No. Profligate is true. It's there
you go. Profligate. Right.
You were confusing me. I didn't know what you wanted to say.
Profligate. Yeah, I just couldn't say the word. Yeah, recklessly extravagant or wasteful in the use of resources or in the use of chances. In this case, they've just not put their chances. Gift Orban I think has one of the highest XGs in Serie A, and keeps missing. And he was dropped for this game. And they've been really unlucky this season. So I actually think that, with players like Giovanni and Belgali and some of these other players that have actually Bernabé scored as well, they've actually bought some really talented players that can play for bigger clubs. So I think that they can go higher. The problem is will they sell these players in January? Because Giovane Belgale, they already got
Agreed.
clubs going to bid for
I
him in
really
January.
like Joe. He's being linked. Jovan is being linked to Inter and some other sides. I like
He's been
him.
linked to all of the big Serie A clubs. They all like him.
Yeah. No, he's good. He's good.
Right, rest of the fixtures. So Sassuolo 3, Fiorentina 1, 14 games so far this season, no wins. Now rock bottom because Verona won. Never before has a team not won any of their first 14 games and stayed up. I watched this game. The team looks completely broken. Again, talking of badly constructed teams. The team is so badly constructed. Vanoli had a meltdown at the end of the game as well. There's already questions: should he be sacked?
No, he should never have been appointed.
Well, he should never have been appointed. No.
It's like the way that they went from Palladino to Pioli to Vanoli, and they kind of hire anyone better is because of financial reasons. It's an astonishingly horrible situation they put themselves in. Prades was sacked. It will take a miracle for Fiorentina to stay up because it's not.
Really? I'm not You're going as strongly as that. I mean,
It's not about the quality of the players. We know that the quality of the players is good enough. But when a squad is this broken, when there's this much they're so disorganized on and off the pitch, from what it seems like. I mean, the perfect euphemism is their home games and the construction site that is their stadium. That's Fiorentina. It's a construction site. It's not a ready product. It's not a ready team. They're literally a construction site. And this doesn't bode well. And I am absolutely. It's horrible for the Serie A to see Fiorentina in this position, and they're probably going to go down. Like, it will take a miracle to fix this. And I don't know how they do it because Vanoli is surely not the answer. So if you sack him, you have to bring Pioli back because you can't have 3 coaches on the payroll. And who are you going to sign? How do you fix this? And that city is not an easy place to be in this situation. That fan base is very unforgiving.
I think that I wouldn't go yet and say it's a miracle from I mean, there's a long way to go. At the moment, though, they look like a relegation team. Watching them play, they look like a relegation team. They're 5 points adrift. There's a long way to go. But Parma 17th, play Pisa in 18th tonight, Monday, recording this before that game. So, and Genoa as well in 16th on 11 points. Okay, they're playing against Udinese. So, I mean, that could extend. I wouldn't worry too much about that points gap, but they could soon.
I'm not worried about the points gap, Carlo. What I'm worried about is the way that it looks. It's not just.
The thing is, they've got a good run of fixtures coming up. Look at these run of fixtures. They've got Hellas Verona at home, Udinese at home, Parma away, Cremonese at home. So the next 4 games are really good fixtures for them if they're going to turn this around. If they go through those 4 games without a win, then yes, I'll be ready to say I think there's a really good chance they're going to go down.
I'm not worried about the quality of the squad. I'm not worried about the ability of the football players there. I think this is when you're in this position, mentally, it's very difficult. And I don't see anyone leadership role being able to guide them out of this storm. I really don't.
I think that we're looking at this tactically. They're playing this back 3, kind of a 3-5-2 formation. It's not working. The problem is, how do you change to a 4-3-3 when you don't have any wingers? That's the problem, because they need to change formation. They need to do
something.
They need to mix things up, because just sticking with this back 3, this 3-5-2, it's not working. The centre midfielders are not controlling the game. They're not protecting. They're not doing anything either way. The defence is just leaking so many goals, and it's just conceding lots of chances. Doesn't look good enough. they actually have good wing backs. They've actually got two of the best wing backs on paper in
Yeah.
the Serie A, in Dodò
Yeah.
and Gosens. That's probably their one strong. And then in attack, Moise Kean, he's only scored 1 goal this season. You know, I'm not going to start saying it's a one season one because I don't think it is. I think he's quality, but he's not. Goodmanson has never done it for Fiorentina, which I find strange because I think he's a really good player and he's done well for Iceland. So I don't know why they've never seemed to be able to find the right position for him. What I would do, at least to try something, I would go to a 4-3-3 and maybe try and play Dodò as a right. It's not his natural position. Of course, try and play Dodò as a right winger, play Goodmanson as a left winger, and play Keane in the middle. At least try something different, you know. And then in January, maybe try and bring some wide players in. This 3-5-2 is not working. You can't keep playing this 3-5-2 or 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-1-2, whatever you want to. They can't stick with this back three system because it's not working. They need to try and mix something up and revolutionize something. And if that means
I think it's a mental issue as well, and that's why I'm saying that it will take a miracle for them to stay up. They look broken. They look mentally broken, and that, like I said, that city is a special city. It's a very proud city. It's a very proud fan base, and when things go badly, they are very unforgiving. And you know, with Dzeko coming out and asking them, "We need your support," and like, this is not looking good.
No, it's got poison. There's been some of the players' wives have shown that the fans have been sending death threats to the partners and to the wives of the players, not just death threats, but some really horrendous stuff.
Yeah.
Like wishing their kids to get
that city is
stuff, you know.
Yeah, and I'm not defending it at all. I'm just saying it's a very
I'm just saying it's like I'm just
place.
adding to what you said. It's
I'm just saying that place is not like, you don't want to, like, they're a proud people. They have a proud history. Let's remember this city used to run the world. You know, the banking capital of the world for 100 years. You know, they are. You know, some would say that maybe they still live in the past and they don't understand where they are and blah blah blah. But the history here matters. This is a very proud people. It's a very proud city, and they are not happy. And when things go bad, I mean, we've seen it before with Fiorentina. They can sink without a trace. We saw it with Cecchigori back when they were top of the second in the Serie A in January in 92-93, and they sank without a trace, and because he sacked the coach. And like, you know, the things go quickly there, and I'm not sure I see anyone right now at the club who's able to handle this situation, and that's what I'm saying. And the players look defeated. Edin Dzeko is running around trying to shake life into them because, you know, he's a natural leader, always been one. It's just it's an absolute mess, and I really worry for Fiorentina. I don't doubt the quality of the players, but I do wonder if this is another situation of Fiorentina managing to, you know, find relegation, discover relegation when it shouldn't be possible to do so. You know who I would appoint? Unfortunately, they can't. But you know who I would appoint in this situation? Davide Nicola. Because he's the kind of person who is a strong character. He knows how to build a dressing room. And he knows how to get, you know, light the fire under people's asses. As he's doing with Cremonese.
He's a relegation survival specialist as well.
He's, I mean, the Salernitana job he did. You know, the shoe thrower. He's
we come on to Nicola in a second. I just want to make a point about Sassuolo. Tarik Muhamremovic was outstanding in this game, marking Moise Kean, and he's been absolutely exceptional this season. One of the best defenders
they all want him
in Serie A. In fact, if I was to pick my best 11, and we'll do that before Christmas, we'll put that out. We'll do a best 11 of the half season. It's part of our Christmas content. I would have him in my 11. He's been absolutely outstanding, and some big clubs want him, and that got me thinking. Sorry again to make this about Juventus, but it got me thinking of he's yet another player that Juventus stupidly sold prematurely. Look at this list.
It's insane.
Yeah, the list of players Juventus have stupidly sold since 2024, right? Dean Huijsen to Bournemouth, 19 million. Sule to Roma, 25 million. Moise Kean to Fiorentina, 19 million. Conny De Winter to Genoa, 11 million. He's now at Milan. Nicola Rovella to Lazio, 17 million. Hans Nicolucci Caviglia to Venezia, 3.5 million. Tarik Muhamremovic to Sassuolo, 3 million. I mean, the value of every single one of these players has at least doubled since leaving Juventus. And a number of these players, like Muhamremovic and others, their value has tripled, quadrupled, quintupled since being sold.
If you're
that's just in the last year, Nima.
yeah,
that's since 2024.
This is what I wanted to say. If you're one of the architects behind the next gen project at Juve, and you see this, and you see the players that you've produced, that's a starting 11 that would do well, not worse than what they've got now. So you're frustrated at that. You're thinking, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
because it's not just one or two players, it's like 6, 7.
Oh, don't say that. Fuck's sake. Oh,
I mean,
God. 6, 7. You said it, Nima. Nima's on the 6, 7 bloody trend.
No, I used it coherently.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. We've lost him. We've lost Nima. Brain rot. The brain rot has taken over Nima's brain as well.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I mean, it's shocking. Not just from the quality of the players, but also from a financial point of view, like the way that they've undersold some of these players. I mean, Dean Huijsen, 19 million, and within a year he was sold for treble, 60 million, and actually his value was actually considered higher, but it was because he had a release clause in his contract. Muhamremovic, I think Juventus actually still have 50% of Muhamremovic, so that's why they've been talking about potentially trying to re-sign him. But how much will they re-sign him for? Is crazy. Let's move on to Davide Nicola though. Cremonese beat Lecce 2-0. Brilliant week for Cremonese. They win 3-1 at Bologna with Jamie Vardy scoring 2 goals, and then they win 2-0 against Lecce, and they totally deserve. They're up to into the top half now with 20 points. What a story! What a story this is, and they're playing so well as well. This isn't just some kind of just survival story. Like they're actually, Europe is not actually far away from them. They're not going to get in Europe, but they're not. They're amazing. They're doing amazing. They're 9th. Well, joint 8th actually. Them and Sassuolo and joint 8th. 3 points behind Juventus.
Yeah. Now you got to love Davide Nicola. I mean, you got to love the work that he's done there. This is such a Davide Nicola team as well, isn't it? Like, it's just the way that they're so gritty and fiery, and they never stop running, and Jamie Vardy, and it's just Baschirotto. It's just you gotta love
Baschirotto, some of his challenges. Oh my God, it was like watching did you know that before 1960 you were actually legally, when the ball was crossed in the area and the goalkeeper caught the ball, it was legally permitted for an attacker to just barge the goalkeeper with the ball over the line, and the goal would count. There's a famous incident where Nat Lofthouse, a legendary England striker, scored a goal in an FA Cup final where he just barged the goalkeeper over the line with the ball. And there's a famous incident in the 1934 World Cup, which sometimes gets used as evidence that Italy that Mussolini, whose great grandson played in this game, by the way, it was used as evidence that Mussolini fixed the World Cup for Italy. I think it was Italy versus Spain, right? And there is some footage of this because I've seen the footage, but it's not the best quality footage. But
1930s.
Where I think it was Italy-Spain, where the winner that Italy scored, the goalkeeper, I think it was Zamora, his name, caught the ball, and one of the Italy players just careered into it, just barged him, charged him over the line. The ball, goalkeeper and ball went over the line. And Italy scored and they went through and they obviously went on and won the World Cup. That's often used as evidence that Mussolini fixed the World Cup because it's like, well, look at this goal that they allowed. So it was actually permitted at the time.
Yeah, it was allowed back then, yeah.
Which was mad. Well, anyway, Bascarotto did a couple of those in this game. They scored a goal from one of them and it got disallowed. And yeah, Bascarotto just makes me laugh.
Me too. Like, it's like every time you see him, you literally expect him to, like, I don't know. It's like I expect him to turn up to the lineup and park cows on the side, like carry a cow on his back, park it on the side, go in and play football, and then go up and put the cow on his back and lift it up.
He turns up with his tractor, like he drives the game with his tractor.
Yeah, like, exactly. His tractor is double parked in the parking lot. Like it's just he's so funny. He's powerful. He is one powerful son of. He is a. No,
I saw him. There was an incident where him and Vardy were next to each other, and Vardy's a skinny little thing, and then Bascarotto was like this,
like a greyhound, and the other one is like a bull. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Vardy looks like a bit of a greyhound as well, isn't he? So like he's got these sharp little. Do you know what I mean? He's built like a greyhound, and then you've got this guy who's like a literal bull. Yeah, it's just mental. They are.
It's like Shaquille O'Neal next to Hart. What's his name? That comedian
Kevin Hart.
I've never laughed at a single joke of his ever. Not funny at all. Yeah. Those two in the World Cup draw, like Shaquille O'Neal, like 6'7", and this Hart guy, like
Kevin Hart,
4'10". Yeah. Anyway, the other three fixtures are Pisa, Parma, Udinese, Genoa, and Torino, Milan, and they're playing on Monday evening. So I'm sure.
And Milan could go alone.
Join. Yeah.
No, 1 point clear. Or 2 points, I think.
Are they level with Napoli, or are they top on their own? Am I?
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Napoli won. Yeah, they will go. They'll go joint top. Sorry,
I was thinking that. Yeah, they'd both be 1 point ahead of Inter.
Yeah.
That brings us on to Inter. Champions League. There's some really tasty games in the Champions League this midweek, especially on Tuesday, where it's Italy versus England in the Champions League. It's Inter versus Liverpool and Atalanta versus Chelsea. This Inter versus Liverpool game is a really interesting game, mainly because of what's going on off the pitch at Liverpool, which is absolutely insane. Mo Salah's post-match interview after the 3-3 draw on Leeds, where, I mean, it's unbelievable, like quotes. Like he absolutely destroyed Slot. He destroyed the Liverpool club. He said that they've thrown him under the bus, saying that he's getting all the blame for their bad season. He has no relationship with the manager. He doesn't know whether this will be his last week, or whether he hinted that he might be sold in January, that they were trying to force him out of the club. It's unbelievable quotes. And obviously that's caused a complete shitstorm now. There's been reports that he might be suspended for the Inter game. Will he be sold now? Will he play again for Liverpool? How will Liverpool deal with it? What about Slot? Has he lost the dressing room? There's reports that other players side with Salah. They want him out as well. I mean, it's a complete mess, isn't it?
I'm just going to read out the text from a mate of mine from uni. He's a massive Liverpool fan. He's like his family are from Liverpool, and he just sent me this while we're recording. This is why I was laughing earlier. He says, "Can you do us a massive favor and beat us 7-0 tomorrow, please? Hopefully that'll be the end of Slot then. Honestly, this guy has bought Wirtz and Isak and doesn't know what to do with them. He benches Salah and still plays Cody. I'll cut inside and balloon the ball Gakpo every game. Gakpo definitely has Slot nudes. That's the only explanation."
Yeah, I think nudes. I think two things can be true.
That's a sentence I never thought I'd say in my life on this pod or ever in life, but here we are.
Nudes. I wouldn't want to see nudes. I wouldn't want to see nudes.
Gakpo's got Slot nudes.
I wouldn't want to see nudes of Slot. I'd rather see nudes of the Buffalo Lotito than the nudes of Slot. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that two things can be true at the same time. I thought that most of what Salah said was complete nonsense. Because he's basically saying that he's bigger than the club. Even though he said I'm not bigger than the club, he was basically saying he's bigger than the club. Salah's been shit this season. Whoever you want to blame for that, whether it's his fault, Slot's fault, he's just getting older. Well, Salah's been shit, and he should have been dropped a long time before these last 3 games, where he has been on the bench for the last 3 games. He only played 45 minutes of the last 3 games. He deserved to have been dropped long before there, and he's been given way too much credit from Slot. That's number one. Number two, he isn't the only one. Everyone's been getting hammered at Liverpool this season. Van Dijk, in a video, and I took the piss out of him.
You mean the greatest centre of all time?
Yeah, the greatest centre back of all time. And I've got people actually believing that I actually believe.
Oh my God, irony is dead. I had a teacher who very, very brilliantly once said that only children and idiots don't understand sarcasm and irony. And that's true, because how can anyone see that and not understand that was obvious sarcasm?
I've had so many people that have been saying, like, even like friends of mine that are saying, "Oh, you're Carlo, you traitor." My uncle called me a traitor the other day, and I said to him, "Uncle, I've just taken the piss."
I'm taking the piss of a Premface.
But yeah, I mean, look, I think that he's been bad. He deserves to be dropped. There's one person that deserves to go after him and has been really nice about it. It's Chiesa. Chiesa literally saved Slot's job in the game before with that. Did you see that clearance he did off the line in the 94th minute, where he chased back the entire length of the pitch and saved a certain goal, which Liverpool would have lost 2-1. What thanks does he get for it? Doesn't play a minute the next game. If there's anybody that should come out and hammer Slot, it's Chiesa. And Chiesa's been really respectful to him. Salah was talking nonsense, but at the same time, I think that
you have to know how to handle a dressing room.
No, that's the point. He doesn't know how to manage the dressing room, and he's not good with his man management. And
my opinion. I don't think Liverpool were the best team in the Premier League last season. I think that was just basically running off of Klopp's fumes. What Klopp did. Yeah, Klopp fumes. But now those,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm ignoring that. I don't want to get sued. It was Klopp's fumes, it was Klopp's remnants, and then this season, this is the Slot project, and it's looking. I don't think they're very good, and I think they're being ruthlessly exposed, and it's looking a little bit like when Chelsea under Mourinho, when they won the league and then they sank without a trace. I wonder how you fix this and, bring Klopp back. I mean, what, if he has the energy for it, because I think he's the only one who can unify everyone. And Liverpool it's strange that this happens at Liverpool, because Liverpool are generally a club that is very united. There's not that much infighting, if you know what I mean. It's generally historically a place where everyone likes to, they all come together, and even when there are problems, they don't, they always put the greater good above the individual. But this has completely gone into a shit show that is just, I don't see how there's a way back from this now. Unless Salah apologizes, I don't think he will. Does he leave in January?
Well, I think he's gone off to the African Cup of Nations. So I think that Liverpool will play for time and kind of see how the results go between now and January. And then if the results continue to be as bad as they have been, then they're probably going to have to make a decision to sack Slot. I mean, that's not far away if the results... that Slot is being saved by the fact that the Premier League has been so tight in terms of the Champions League challenges, that Liverpool is still only like 2 points or something off the top 4, and then it'll be 5 places for the Champions League this season anyway. So I think they're looking at that and saying, look, okay, we're probably not going to win the league this season, so let's just get in the Champions League. We're well in there in the Champions League. We're going to qualify for the knockout, so there's no immediate emergency in terms of replacement. But I think if these results continue badly, then they'll probably make the decision to sell him. They'll bring someone else in, and that other person will. Then there can be a clean slate with Salah. But the point is that he also went after the club. He didn't just go after the manager.
No, he went Antonio Conte. that was his Antonio Conte moment. Like when Conte
I love
fed
how
up.
he was smiling the whole way through the interview, like the smiling assassin. He like had a grim smile while he was doing this. You know, they're trying to kill me, and you know,
It was remarkable. It was genuinely remarkable, and it was calculated too. This wasn't an emotional outburst. He knows exactly what he's doing. There's a plan. He had a plan with this. This was not just one of those things where he, you know, this was not someone just saying things for the sake of. This was deliberate. There was definitely something.
They need to have the opportunity here. You said before, big game. They got to win.
Yeah.
And they need to try and at least get a draw if they want to try and get into the top 8, don't they? But a win, given it's a home game, would be great. But at least the draws needed.
Especially if you're going up against Arsenal away, who are, I think it's safe to say, if not the best team in Europe, one of the best teams in Europe.
Is that the next game for Inter?
Yeah, the final game is against Dortmund away.
Yeah,
so
it's probably unrealistic to think that Inter can win at Arsenal.
No,
maybe
they're
a draw,
not beating
but
Arsenal.
not a win. So
they're not beating Arsenal. I don't think there are many teams that beat Arsenal at the way that Arsenal are playing right now.
They lost.
I think they are just so
They
good.
lost to Aston Villa at the weekend.
But
the Inter have 12 points. They need 4 points to get into that, to get that magic mark, to get into the top 8. So if they need
this win.
They need 4 points. So they need at least a point, and then they can beat Dortmund in the last game, which I think they can do that. So 3 points against Dortmund. They probably need 1 point from these next 2 games. That should be enough. But a win, and then they're basically there. So it's going to be a good game. Atalanta Chelsea also going to be a fascinating game.
Yeah,
as well. Hard to know what to expect from Atalanta at the moment, but this will tell us where they are in terms of European situation. And they're in a decent position. They're on 10 points, so they need 1 point to be absolutely guaranteed of qualification. So they need 1 point from 3 games. They should be fine. And there's not really that much pressure on them. They've got Athletic Bilbao after that. And then the last game, they've got Union SG away. So I think they'll be all right to qualify.
Yeah.
They'll be fine to qualify. And then the big ones are really, in terms of qualification, because I think that both, obviously, Inter already through, is Juventus and Napoli games on the Wednesday. So
they have to win that. Both have to win.
Speak of Napoli, yeah.
They both have to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Both have to win. Because it would be a huge failure if Napoli didn't make it to the out of the league stage. It would be a huge failure.
Well, yeah, I think a draw for Chelsea, for Napoli, they'll put them up to 8 points. They would need 2 or 3 points from the last 2 games. So a draw wouldn't be a disaster, and Benfica away is not easy. Juventus, no doubts about it, have to win. They're on 6 points. So,
but it is funny that isn't it Mourinho's at Benfica now, isn't he? So
yeah, it is. Yeah.
You've got Conte and Mourinho going at each other. I mean, that is pop your corn and enjoy the show.
Yeah. And Juventus have to win. They rested Yildiz for those last 20 minutes, so he should be fresh for this game. Right. Let's go to Europa League. Celta versus Bologna, Celtic versus Roma. And they both probably need results as well. Roma are on 9 points. Okay, Roma need probably a point or 2 to qualify. Bologna on 8 points. Yeah, I mean, draws wouldn't be the worst results, I think, for those 2 teams. They need to get something, though.
They need to get something. And I have absolutely no hopes for Fiorentina in the Conference League. I literally don't even think I consider them to be eliminated from the Conference League because they need to survive in the Serie A.
Who's that?
Fiorentina.
Oh, Fiorentina.
Yeah. Like I have no ambitions. I have nothing. They have bigger fish.
To be honest, in that competition, they should be able to play their reserves and still get through this group.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be bottom of the Serie A after 14 matches either. I mean, again, this is. I wonder if this is not a broken team now mentally. Like seriously.
Yeah, well, they still have work to do to get through in Europe. They've got 6 points.
I think the best thing that can happen is that they exit the Conference League. They cannot be relegated to the Serie B. Like they just can't.
They've got Dinamo Kiev this week. Yeah,
it's mental. Absolutely
And then they've
mental.
got Lausanne away in their final game. So they still have to. I think they still have to. They still need some points from the.
Yeah, they do. But I hope they get eliminated. They have to focus on the Serie A. It's unbelievable that I say that, but it's true. The situation they're in, drastic measures, drastic times, drastic measures. They need to focus on the Serie A. It's as simple as that.
Okay, Baggio of the week.
You need to introduce the segment. I mean, you can't just. We need the swoosh. People get angry otherwise.
Sorry. Baggio, Premface, and Serie ASS of the week.
There we go.
Right, Baggio. I'm going to go. I think David Neres. Neres. I thought he was absolutely electric in this game, and I give a shout out to Jamie Vardy for his 2 goals against Bologna. That was at the start of last week as well. Right, the influencers. I'm going to leave that. I was going to talk about Italy's influence. Okay, I'll do it then. Yeah, right.
I think it's brilliant.
Basically, in Italy, there's this new influencer code of conduct. So if you have more than 500,000 followers, you have to register with the state and declare all paid partnerships. So you can't put out fake news, any kind of secret partnerships. You have to declare all of it. And if you break the rules or you cheat, you are fined over $500,000. Now, this is a response to Pandoragate scandal, which many of our listeners will probably be aware of. I don't know if you are. So it's
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's shocking. So Italy's biggest influencer is a girl called Chiara Ferragni. And she sold panettone to her followers at ridiculously extreme prices, told them the money was going, was it to a children's charity? I believe.
I think so, yeah.
And then basically just kept the money.
Pocketed it.
Pocketed the money. Now, she's gone under trial, been fined a massive amount of money, and there's a good chance she will go to jail for this. Deservedly so, if she's complicit herself. I don't know if it's her team, whatever. It's absolutely disgusting. It's disgusting. Yes. So anyway,
no, I think it's good. Like, you can't just you can't do that. You can't. Like, there has to be some sort of regulation. I mean, there's so many. This has happened in Sweden as well. This is happening in so many countries where these people just pocket the money, and then no one. Like, they just say they're going to give to charity. They're very vague about which charity they're going to give it to. They don't specify which charity they're going to give it to. They say they're going to do this, and then they just pocket all the money. This is disgusting. This is genuinely disgusting, and it needs to be, Yeah,
but it's also part of a growing trend that we've seen in the world with the younger generation. I'm sorry, but it's not good. You can call me old or whatever. This influencer trend is really bad, and there is actually there is actually a real thing called brain rot. Like, this has actually been proven.
Oh yes,
it's actually been proven scientifically that people are getting dumber and more stupid, the younger generation, because they are spending so much time on their phones, online, and basically, what do you call it, death scrolling, or what do you call that when you just keep scrolling? Just on Instagram and just basically the worship of influencers, the aspiration of youngsters to be influencers, and it's just incredible. Like, when we were young, you'd aspire to be something.
If you idolized someone, it was someone who actually had done something. It was a singer, it was a pop artist, it was a musician, it was a sports star, it was I don't know,
it was
some actor, something, someone who did something. I'm not saying it was better than this, because I think this kind of stems from this ridiculous obsession with celebrity and notoriety. I think this is just a continuation of what was already there, but at least there was something. Someone actually did something. What the hell do these people do other than just they're famous for being famous?
Yeah. Absolutely, they've got no skill, they've got no talent,
none,
and they're just there influencing, and they're getting a hell of a lot of money for it. And I just think it's sad, and this is the worst example of that. Really, what's happening?
No,
so
it's disgusting.
The fact that they're going after influencers,
No, but it's not just in this. Is the fact that it's like any market, it needs to be regulated, and if it isn't, then you have these kinds of instances because the temptation will always be too big to do these things. Like again, it's horrible. I think it's vile, and it's not just in Italy. It happens all over the world. This notion of they found basically a loophole that says that if you're vague about where the money is going to. So do you know what I mean? Like if you say you're going to raise money for the Red Cross has to officially approve you, and then they have to control that the money actually goes there, right? For example. But if you don't, you just say, I'm just going to give it to starving children. Okay, where? Who? Which organization? Do you know what I mean? Like which is a broader point about this NGO fraud that we've seen for 10, 15, 20 years now. At different levels.
No, I think with charities, there's a lot of charities that get away with murder, and actually the worst ones are the biggest ones. Like me personally, like we do a lot for charity
locally,
locally,
which is the best thing to do, honestly. I think at this point,
my dad, especially, my dad is considered basically like a god of the local community because he's
been there for 30, 40, 50 years.
He basically gives away half of his earnings to charity all the time. It's always the local charities. And then he always taught me from a young age. He says, when you donate to local charities because you know where the money goes. You see how it's used. The national and the global charities, not saying all of them, but a hell of a lot of them.
Many of
that money just gets stolen.
There's been so many exposés on this, like the way that they work and the way that these NGOs are just, it's horrible. But so I agree. I think the local charity. I mean, that's what I do as well. Whenever I give, I always give to the local ones because I know what they do. I literally know people. I know what they do locally. I know where the money goes.
Yeah, you get to know the people that are doing the charitable work, and you see.
You see the effects of it. It's horrible. It's so cynical and it's so disgusting that this is where the world is at, where people
it is charity
charlatans that literally scrounge off and get rich off of people in actual.
No, it's become a business, and the national and global charities use it as a business. They use it as protection. They use it as a way to not pay tax.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. It literally makes you want to vomit.
No, absolutely. So go local, guys. Go local charities. Right, Premface. Right. So the Premface of the week has to be Jason McAteer on talking about Mo Salah's impact at Liverpool under just Jason McAteer's impact. Jason McAteer on Mo Salah's impact at Liverpool. Can you tell everyone this story?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know which broadcaster this is, but I know that they're talking. It's after Mo Salah's outburst, and he says the host. Asks, he says, he's basically on Mo Salah's impact at Liverpool under both Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot, and McAteer says he didn't carry the club, Gerrard carried the club, and the host says, so do you think that Liverpool would have won 2 Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues without Salah? And his response is creme de la creme, Premface. They wouldn't have won the Premier League without Jordan Henderson. Which I think is brilliant because a friend of mine said that Jurgen Klopp is the greatest coach of all time because if you manage to win important trophies with Jordan Henderson as your regista, you are the greatest magician football has ever seen. And he used to send me this clip on YouTube. I think it's called Jordan Henderson Greatest Regista Highlights and Skill, and it's like 10 minutes of Jordan Henderson running around, can't even string 2 passes together. And that's like it's just mad. Mad.
Well, Jason McAteer has form. Jason McAteer is so dumb that he won. This is a true story, apparently. Jason McAteer is so dumb that he went to Pizza Hut in the 1990s, and the waitress asked McAteer whether he wanted his pizza sliced into 4 or 8 slices, and McAteer replied, 4, please. I'm not feeling that hungry today. Now,
It's the same pizza, you idiot.
that was reported in the English media in the 90s, and I never forget it. And
English media, man, are such bullies, man. Like, they're just horrible, absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is peak Premfacery, Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, that is peak Premfacery. Kind of rating the runner over the skillster is like, that is the hallmark of the Premface. That is.
It's the equivalent of, it's the equivalent of like us saying that Gattuso in that midfield for Italy or for Milan is the greatest midfield. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah. It's mental.
Right. The other Premface is Wayne Gretzky at the World Cup draw. Some of his pronunciation was really fantastic in this. My favorite.
Curacao was my favorite.
My favorite was the North Macedonia, where he says Mac Air Donia.
Which is funny because people from the Balkans have said that actually that's how you pronounce it in that language. Like that's
really?
Okay. Yeah. That's
I'm the Premface then.
Yeah, but yeah, no, but it's I didn't know that there was like we should have. They was closer to the actual pronunciation of how people in the country themselves pronounce it, but in English it's Macedonia.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
right, Serie A
I thought it was hilarious the way he pronounced it, and it was clear that he was hoping not to be able to pronounce that. I think he said something about, I was dreading this.
He comes off as Gretzky always come off as just a real classic redneck from American movies.
No, not like this. I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but there's a decline here. He didn't.
Oh, really?
This is not. He didn't used to sound like this. He used to be coherent.
Oh, okay. I won't say anything else then. Yeah. Right. Serie ASS of the week. Well, the World Cup draw in general was just ass all along. It was.
I mean, the village people at the end. I'm sorry.
Everything about it was ass. There was obviously so many things. Starting off with the hypocrisy of the fact that FIFA tell us that politics and football shouldn't mix, and then basically
invent the prize.
Basically, 70% of the show was politics, inventing a peace prize for Trump. So that's number one. Let's stay away from the politics, but just in terms of the actual
football and politics don't mix.
Professionalism of the show. The sound was horrendous sound quality. So I don't know who done the sound check, but the sound was awful. Kevin Hart and Heidi Klum.
Rio Ferdinand, the comedians.
Kevin Hart. Well, let me start off with Kevin Hart and Heidi Klum. They've obviously never presented in their life. They were horrendous.
Heidi Klum has she had her own show?
Well, what as a presenter of a show?
Yeah, she was the host of some fashion show. Like next month.
There's a difference between hosting a packaged show and doing live presentation.
Yeah, that's fair.
And awards. I think it's different. You need somebody like a proper professional to do that. She wasn't very good, but Kevin Hart was terrible. Kevin Hart was swaying all the time, hands in his pocket, but he was getting feedback off his mic because he kept moving with his mic. Now, these are just basic, very basic things. Rio Ferdinand was the man of the people apparently. Yet when he was asked before the show about the fact that ticket prices cost like £2,000, £3,000 for a round one game, wouldn't criticise FIFA for it, understandably, because he's working for them. It was just all very cringe.
I can't see Heidi Klum and not remember this golden clip. If you remember that band Wheatus, they had a hit called A Teenage Dirtbag.
Yeah.
She sang that live with them, that part where the girl sings. And I just in the most with the most German pronunciation and dialect ever. And she can't sing. And I just Google Wheatus, go on YouTube and look for Wheatus Heidi Klum. It's I just can't. Every time I see her, I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. You just got to see it. It's gold. As for the ticket prices,
Nima doing German accents only on the Italian football.
Yeah, you just got to watch. It's
sound like the 3 little pigs from Shrek.
Yeah. I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. It's gold. As for the ticket prices, I was sent to this from one of our listeners, Julian, who after the draw, this is on StubHub Canada, for the first game, Canada's first home game, which potentially could be against Italy at the BMO Field in Toronto. Listen to this. The cheapest ticket is $2,643. Then it's fine. What?
Is that for Canada, Italy? Did you say?
Yeah, the opening game potentially against Italy in the BMO Field in Toronto, $2,643 Canadian dollars for now. This is a couple of days ago. Then 5,739. Then 6,134, only 3 left. 7,592, only 1 left. And then the best one of all, $113,018 is the most expensive one for the opening game. I mean, this is an absolute.
And Trump was boasting about ticket sales in the draw as well.
Well, of course he is.
My friend Gianni here has done.
No, he didn't call him Gianni. He called him Johnny, and that is the greatest thing. He called him Johnny. Like I was addicted to how he was pronouncing Gianni Infantino's name. He kept calling him Johnny. It was very, very funny. Yeah. No, it's but the thing is,
this World Cup has been a shambles from the organization.
Listen, all those justices and knights of social rights and justice who were shitting on Qatar 4 years ago, where are you now?
No,
I get crickets from all of you. I mean, it's just embarrassing. They've all, we knew it was going to be this, but this is an absolute joke. Do you want to tell me? Like it's going to be a complete circus. Like
it's not just the ticket prices though, Nima. Like the infrastructure, like the transport infrastructure of the United States is horrendous. Like you can't get on public transport to go from place to place. It's
going to be a mess. It's going to be an absolute mess.
If you're going to have to drive and like if you're stupid enough to spend that amount of money, or you're lucky enough to be able to afford to pay those ticket prices, you're going to have to spend a fortune afterwards on travel, which because there's no public transport, it's going to cost you the same amount of price for your ticket as your tickets for your transport. Then you've obviously got hotels, you've got flights, which are obviously going to be very expensive going to the United States. It's no one's going to be able to afford it, and it's
going to be just millionaires and billionaires for about a month.
And how are they going to fill out the stadiums? Unless they reduce the price because the dynamic pricing comes down at the last minute and you get locals going at the last minute, but that's not going to make.
Well, I mean, at least that's something.
Yeah, but it's not going to make a great atmosphere because you're not going to have the support
of
the countries there. And
then
you've got, talking about social justice warriors, you've got. You're Iran, for example. Iran currently on the ban list, so no one from Iran can.
Well, not no one, but there are certain. That's why there were people from the Iranian delegation that weren't given visas, and that's why Iran decided to boycott the draw. Except for the delegation, I think the manager was there, but because he had to be there. But most of the delegation boycotted.
How can Iran?
It's the most. This is going to be. It's going to be a shit show, and it's going to be the most political World Cup ever. And it's funny because the same people who were saying that politics had nothing to do with how they treated the Qatar World Cup we're hearing crickets from them now. Nothing, not a word, not a peep. But it is what it is. But it's just embarrassing. I mean these prices. $113,000 for a ticket. Okay, it's great, but the opening game, not the World Cup final, the opening game in Toronto for Canada to play. I mean, it's embarrassing. I mean, it's absolutely embarrassing. But so I don't want to hear anything ever again from anyone saying that football and politics don't mix and all that. Because what we saw was just, I think George Galloway tweeted something out. He called it like the 1936 Olympics, but everyone with selfie sticks or something. He called it. It was just embarrassing. just embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It was a clown show, and some of the music acts. I like Lauryn Hill though.
Lauryn Hill is awesome, but like for me, the ending. I'm sorry, but the ending with the Village People.
Are any of the originals in the Village People anymore?
I think one of them is. I don't know which one it is, but I think I read somewhere that one of them is. One of them is, and the funny thing is, like, you have the Village People there, and then you have Rudi Völler and all these old. They look like.
Well, they actually performed. You know, the 1994 before the 1994 World Cup, Germany actually did a World Cup song with the Village People. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Have you ever seen?
No,
that?
it was with the Scorpions, wasn't it? I thought their official song was with the Scorpions.
People.
Oh, it was the Village. Yeah, the official song was with the Village People, but they partied. People, but they partied.
It was really
with the Scorpions. Yeah, they partied.
It was the most cringeworthy thing ever, because we know, like, Germans are great at many things, but they're not.
Comedy and humor, not so much.
They're not so much, you know, in terms of when it comes to, you know, showing their personality and dancing and singing.
I remember that they were partying with the Scorpions before the '94 World Cup, and they were sitting drinking beer and Scorpions. And I remember the Swedish journalist who did the cover that said this looked old, and that was '94. Like. Now with the Village People, I laughed. I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was hilarious.
Anyway, listen, let's wrap this up. Final Serie A of the week. The Serie A website naming Vardy man of the match against Bologna. They did the worst Photoshop ever. They basically, you have to see this, guys. Go onto social media. They did. They stuck Jamie Vardy's head on another Cremonese player's body. It looked so. I mean, honestly, like, everyone knows how bad I am at Photoshop and artwork. I mean, this is someone who I once at school, I drew when I was drawing a picture of the horizon, painting the horizon. I put the sun in front of the mountain instead of behind the mountain. So, like, even I would be ashamed of this Photoshop.
Yeah, I'm shit at. I've always been shit at that too. I'm you know, like, I can't draw to save my life. Like, literally,
no, I can't.
So
I'm terrible.
Yeah, I'm
terrible. But why not just use his actual photo? Why are you putting his head on another Cremonese?
But it's like also the look on his face, like, of that photo as well. It's like, it's not a very flattering photo. He looks annoyed, like someone farted next to him, and like, it just it's not a flattering photo. It's just weird.
Yeah. Oh God, Serie A.
Brilliant.
Only Serie A. Right. Okay. Right. Let's leave it at that. Extra long show for you. We'll have a Q&A as well.
Just so this week, Q&A for patrons on Tuesday. We'll do for patrons Q&A on Tuesday, and then on Tuesday night I'm doing a post-match reaction to Atalanta, Chelsea, and Inter Liverpool. Wednesday you're doing the Napoli and Juve games post-match reaction, and then on Thursday we'll be publishing our exclusive interview we did last week with Udinese technical director, former Napoli, Leicester City, Besiktas, Swiss international Gökhan Inler. So make sure to check that out. It'll be out. So plenty of content coming out. I think this is one of our best interviews. He was really cool. And we were originally only given like 20-30 minutes, but he stayed up for 45 minutes, and then we had a chat afterwards as well. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, he really likes us.
We liked him. He was cool. He was funny.
He told us some great stories of his career, but also some really good stuff about Udinese, where he's kind of one of the main men there.
He's sporting director, technical director.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, thank you everyone for listening. Until next time, ciao.